back at it again with a brand new season. Today, we talk about the impacts of the Commander supplemental product on the format and the game as a whole. Let's go! Hello, everybody. Welcome to Commanding Magic Season 2, Episode 1. Travis and Brandon here today. Brandon, it's a brand new day.
It's a whole new world.
No, not that.
No? Okay.
But holy crap, it's taken us a long time to get here.
Oh, yes.
Considering
we're
that
back on track.
Considering that we talked about Commanding Magic Season 2 starting in January.
Yeah.
but then I think we really made the right move to kind of go back and cover everything that we missed.
Yeah. Which
Colin,
is all right.
Colin's not here. I'm not sure why.
Nope.
Moving on. So today's episode, we're moving past all the spoilers. We're not going to really be touching on Modern Masters because it's just kind of a reprint set and it doesn't have that big of an impact on us.
Yeah, it doesn't affect us all that much.
It might be something we can go over in like an episode where we have more than one topic to go over, just because there are some things I'd like to say about it, but I think that that for this episode we have enough to be going on with.
Even for us, it doesn't affect like the financial standpoint of being able to afford cards,
right?
Since it is a very low release set.
Yeah.
So
Today's topic is one that I've actually been wanting to go over for a very long time, and it is what the Commander supplemental product has done for the Commander format overall. So going back all the way from the beginning, from the original Commander release to like what Commander was before that, Wizards kind of getting wind of what was going on and realizing that it was such a big format and deciding that this is a fan-made format. This is like the community made this format. And for a long time, there was it wasn't officially recognized, but it is now. So, but there's been some interesting things that have happened with the format, like exclusive mechanics and things like that. There's been some financial implications now that it's an official format. And we're just going to kind of go over that and give our opinions on it.
Yep.
So starting all the way back to when Commander was known as Elder Dragon Highlander, it was named for the original
Elder Dragons.
The Elder Dragons in Magic. I guess when it became an official thing, Wizards just decided to make it their own and rechristen the format as Commander. So before all of this supplemental product, I think it's funny because I think that like some cards like were a lot more expensive, but some cards weren't as expensive. Cards like Sol Ring were like, I'm pretty sure they were like $25 a piece before, because you were very limited to the places that you could get your Sol Rings at, but it was known as like an integral part to any Commander deck, right?
I haven't specifically. I didn't get into Commander until just after Innistrad. So right before Return to Ravnica. Right. So I could not tell you about anything that happened during this original Commander set. Just about the cards. Yeah.
So cards like Sol Ring were a little bit more expensive, but other cards, and like I can't give you a specific example in this point, but like other, like let's just say like legendary creatures, that are now like known as being really good commanders in the format may have been a little bit cheaper, and then specifically like the foil versions of those cards were just a little bit easier to come by. A perfect example of that, now that it's like such a widely recognized format, is that Scion of the Ur-Dragon used to be like nothing. Like you could get him wherever. Like foils, I think foils were sitting around like $20-$25. I can't say for sure, but I know for a fact because I specifically like saw it happen when Khans of Tarkir block was a thing. That's Commander has been accepted. It's a format. Wizards is like, yep, this is Commander, and so we see all these dragon cards coming out, and I'm like, Scion of the Ur-Dragon, he's gonna skyrocket, he's going up,
and he did.
Like he was up at like $100 for a while for foils. and now it's kind of settled back down around 50. I think I don't have the numbers
But
on
still,
hand,
that's a $25 price hike to what he was before.
yeah. So, and I'm not so sure that it would have been as similar, like a similar jump, if not, because like what Commander did, being recognized as an official format, spread the word.
Yeah.
It became more than just like a website that is fan made with all the rules and stuff like that. To like, there is product readily available. Go buy it. Start playing right away to get people into it.
Yeah. Which that's what these sets were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Was to get people into the format as an introductory kind of thing.
And so we have the first 5 decks here, which we unfortunately couldn't find like a good visual spoiler of them all, even on the Wizards website. Maybe I just am not good at this, but whatever. Yeah. So we saw some really, really powerful cards, and I think at the time, I'm not sure that they were even seen for how powerful they were when they first came out. So we had Kalia of the Vast,
to this day, Kalia of the Vast is still like the
pretty infamous.
Yeah. And it's like the only Mardu leader that's really good that you have to choose from.
I mean, we have Alesha now, but I mean, as if you're talking about probably like super competitive, I'm sure that Kalia is probably pretty good. Riku of Two Reflections, who is still very popular. We have Gabe, Guru of Spores, who's still very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Zedru the Greathearted, I'm not sure, but I mean, he's still a really neat card with some interesting mechanics. The Mimeoplasm, whatever you want to call him, very popular. And those were just like kind of the main featured ones. In this deck, the Heavenly Inferno deck, we also had Teriel, Reckoner of Souls we had Animar, Soul of the Elements in this one.
Also got to mention that we got reprints of the dragons.
Yeah, so each one came with a reprint of the Future Sight dragons, right? Yeah, which was kind of interesting. So yeah, like, and the thing that this set did that kind of, other than printing these very powerful commanders, which kind of set a precedent of what a good commander ought to be, it seemed at the time, and which I feel like fans kind of there was an expectation that in all future supplemental product that we would receive commanders where the power level was like on par with these, which there was a little bit of fluctuation on that going forward. But another thing go ahead.
Talking about the power level in some of these decks, the Riku deck had Edric in it.
Yeah, Edric, Spymaster of Trest, which like until his reprint, he was like $25-$30, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But we got one thing that they did do, which they have kind of followed up with in most future releases, is they included a Soul Ring. They just gave you a Soul Ring, which started to bring the price of Soul Ring down, which I think that really was pretty crucial in the development of the format as an official thing. And the reason I say that is just because, like, and when I say Soul Ring, I guess what I really should have said was just the staples in general. Like, we're starting to see, like, cards become...
Lightning Greaves.
Yeah, Lightning Greaves, that's a really important one. And Command Tower, I totally even didn't think about that. But yeah, we have, like, our own exclusive Commander land for us Commander players, which just lets you get 1 mana for your Commander's color identity, which was amazing at the time. Doesn't come into play tapped or anything.
Nope.
We also got all of the vows, which are used pretty often in a lot of decks, which... I am not going to... This isn't really an episode for going over cards, but... Yeah,
they were an interesting concept.
Yeah, for sure. And then we had... where is it? This I believe, was the first printing of Scavenging Ooze, which I can't find right now. What deck was it in, Brandon? Help.
I'm looking.
Because until Scavenging Ooze's reprint in, I believe it was M14. Here it is, yeah. So until his reprint in M14, I believe, is when he came back. His price was sitting up there too, around $25-$30. And then we even got cards like Flusterstorm, which I believe sees legacy play, or like not necessarily, maybe not like main deck,
Vintage,
but I believe like
because
side
it was
deck.
printed in Vintage Masters, so I would assume.
Yeah, and that card, I'm not sure. I think that card's only been reprinted Vintage Masters so far.
Yeah.
So that card may still be. Can I get a price check on that real quick, Brandon? Can you do that for me?
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe it's gone down since I'm just gonna look like a big idiot. Tick tock, tick tock. Okay, what is it?
That's not a good reaction.
Okay.
Well, the judge foils are 120.
Okay.
But the normal card is $85.
Yeah, man. So it's like that, and this is like I guess our first kind of where we see cards that have come out on these supplemental sets start to kind of creep into other formats. So like Legacy and Vintage specifically, I suppose. But we also got Champion's Helm in this set, which was in not this deck. What deck was it in?
I see it in Political Puppets.
Okay.
One with Drew.
All right. So yeah, that's a very important equipment that we got here. Just having the tag of the equipped creature gets more than just the initial ability if they're legendary, which is something that kind of the format is based around. So
we've seen reprintings of dual lands.
Yeah.
We see in this first Commander pre-constructed set, we've seen a lot of stuff to just help bring cards into the spotlight.
Kind of to show people maybe that it would just be getting into the format, that cards that may not have been the best in like standard and stuff and modern can be used in this format.
Also, like there's a lot of cards in here, like Death by Dragons.
Death by Dragons.
A heavily multiplayer affected card.
Yeah, like specifically cards that are printed that make you have like they makes the game very political. So like for each player other than target player gets 5/5 dragons. So it's like it lets you kind of like upset the balance of power and kind of make big plays and things like that.
I think cards like this helped like enforce the fact that this isn't a heavily competitive format as opposed to some people take it as.
Yeah,
but
we also saw our first introduction of format-specific mechanics like join forces.
Yeah,
we had Mana Charge Dragon. We had Collective Voyage, which I believe was in this deck. Just like a crazy way to get a ton of lands. If your opponents like want to go in on it for a type of group hug type thing. We had Alliance of Arms, which was in the token deck, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, which gave everybody soldiers. We had Minds Aglow, I think was the one that was in this one, maybe. Or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I know there was a red one, too. Oh, I know the red one was... We already went over that one. Yeah, Minds Aglow that let everybody draw a ton of cards.
Yeah.
So...
Which has actually been reprinted since.
Yeah, so it shows that they're thinking about ways to make the format really interesting using like new stuff, like stuff printed just for this. Like how can we make crazy multiplayer interactions happen?
Yeah, and these cards, like if it doesn't specify commander like Command Tower, these cards that they've printed can be used in just casual multiplayer games.
Yeah,
like casual 60 card or whatever you want to play. If you want to play with a bunch of friends, you can play cards like this.
Funny thing, we saw the printing of Trade Secrets. 3-mana sorcery that says target opponent draws 2 cards, then you dropped 4 cards. That opponent may repeat the process as many times as they choose. This card is banned in Commander. A card that was printed in Commander is now banned. At least I'm pretty sure this came out in Commander.
Speaking of which, back in this day and age, Wizards didn't have a say in the banned and restricted list in the set or in the format. It was managed by the people who came up with the format.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
So, but then they, Wizards communicates with the people who created the format and manage all that, and have since,
Yeah, hey, I actually stand corrected on Trade Secrets. Trade Secrets was printed in Onslaught.
Really?
Yeah, it's very strange. That is some new information to me, so get jugged, I guess. So that was I know that when I got all five of these decks when they first came out, I was really excited because I had just kind of gotten into the format and I was super excited for everything that it would bring and just what it meant for the format as a whole. And like I think I just paid like the $35 a piece for them or whatever. And when it first came out, I think they all stayed around the same price for a while until,
as opposed to the super high prices that there are now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just because it's like a limited run, but you know, who knows? Like, I didn't pay attention to the prices back then, but who knows? Maybe one deck surpassed another over time once people kind of started to kind of figure stuff out. But then we move on to Commander 2013, which is when Brandon started playing Commander. So tell us a little bit about your introduction here to the format.
You mean the fact that the one deck that I wanted, I didn't have access to because it had a super overpowered card in it that everybody wanted for a certain format.
Was it in that deck?
Yeah. A True Name Nemesis was in
Mindseas?
Yep.
So, funny story about Commander 2013 is that I ordered a quote-unquote sealed case of mine. And when mine came, it shipped, it looked legit and everything. But I got all five of the decks except for Mindseas. I got 2 copies of Eternal Bargain. So somehow I managed to not get the deck that had the really expensive card in it, you know. But thank goodness my locals back then was really good to me, and I did not get this from them, but I took it back to them and I was like, "Hey, I got this case," and I just got screwed somehow, and they were like, "Oh no, we got you," and they traded me like 1 for 1. So that was really cool of them. But I think
when I couldn't end up buying Mindseas, I bought Nature of the Beast instead because I had like Primal Vigor.
Oh yeah.
And I had some good stuff for tokens because at the time I was trying to actually start build Gave the right way when I had switched from Doran to Gave.
Right.
So
man, that's weird to think about.
A long time ago.
So going into Commander 2013, we saw a new swath of commanders that could be used. Derevi, whom I believe to this day is still a pretty competitive commander.
Yeah.
And then we also got the printing of Rune of the Hidden Realm, which is awesome for the Blink deck. We had Nekasar the Mind Razor, who I believe is still a very popular commander.
So much fun.
We had Oloro, Ageless Ascetic, who is a very popular Esper control commander. Oh, look at that. Look at that sweet foil. Boop. We see like normal price and then add tack like $50 onto that and you have this one.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure that like that's something we could probably say at this point that since the release of these sets we have seen, and up until Commander 2016 where all of the commanders were printed foil, these were all printed non-foil, and they over time released select of these cards as like judge foils and stuff like that. And for that reason, you're gonna have to pay a premium for a lot of the foils.
It might have changed by now, but last time I checked, Negusar's judge foil was only like $20.
Yeah, what's Kalia's judge foil at though?
I could not tell you. Why don't you talk and I'll find out.
We had a Sidri Galvanic Genius, who was awesome for the Esper Artifact player. We had Prosh, Skyrider of Care, whom I believe is a very competitive commander still to this day. Just because commander damage is the thing over anything. Commander damage and like token combo is such a huge thing. I think that Nature of the Beast probably had the weakest of the commanders. It had Gahiji Honored One, who's neat for reasons of his own, and then it had Marath, Will of the Wild, whom I love as a card, but unfortunately, I don't know. I just don't think that it sees as much play as other ones.
I like Gahiji because he led my allies deck back when there wasn't an ally commander.
We got
Kalia. She's only had a actual foil printing in the commander's arsenal, which we completely forgot about.
Oh yeah,
and that's $50.
Yeah, so still a pretty penny. Also in these decks here we had the Tempting Offer cards, which is another exclusive mechanic to Commander. There's one for each color. We saw the first printing of Toxic Deluge, which was really good. And I'm not like I think that going through all of these like one by one to just go over everything, every possible card that's new is silly. But just a select few. Primal Vigor is, because everyone. I wonder if Primal Vigor like did anything to the price of doubling season. I can't like I don't know, but
I have no idea.
A similar effect. It's slightly worse, but we had True Name Nemesis, which is the card that made that deck go up in price so much. But yeah, so along with all these cards, we of course had reprints and stuff, which again fluctuated like more, not fluctuated, but probably maybe fluctuated the price of the cards that they were the reprints of, But I think it's hard to say at what point we started to see an increase in price of foils, like popular foils for Commander. Like I can say for sure that now it's a lot harder to get some of the good staple foils than it used to be, though.
Yeah.
So after Commander 2013, we had Commander 2014, which was
a set.
So the biggest thing that I think that it introduced was the idea, or at least as an official idea, was using a planeswalker as a commander, and that was one of the things that it kind of was like, we're Commander 2014, we have planeswalkers that you can use as commanders, which I'm sure that that play groups had house ruled that you could do that prior to that anyway. But
also just the fact that commander, and specifically the commander rule where you can only have one of each, like one commander. You can only have one name, like say for instance Niv Mizzet has had 2 printings and you can have both of him out at the same time, right? Because reasons, like even though he's the same creature and all that, you can have both of his cards out.
Correct.
When you're thinking about this in a different perspective, all these planeswalkers were taken from a different point in time. Like we see Freelise is dead. Duretti, we've seen him now on Kaladesh. He's not Kaladesh. What was it? Fiora and Conspiracy.
Duretti was in Conspiracy. Yeah. And
then Obnixilis, he's a demon now. And then Teferi, we don't know what he's up to.
Right.
And then Nahiri. What's happened to Nahiri now, Travis?
She's crazy, and she's like doing crazy stuff on Innistrad still, right? It's not like
I think she got her
left,
revenge
right?
on Soren.
I
think she just probably.
Sure. But yeah, these were monocolored decks here. So we saw Stitcher Giralf and Cool Collar Gissa, which is really cool. Which we saw them again in Innistrad. We have Titania, who is an old card, an old personality in the game. Feldon, who is an old personality in the game. We had the introduction of Lieutenant, which is abilities that are contingent on your commander being in play, which is really cool.
Arguably, Thunderfoot Baloth being one of the best.
Yeah, totally agree. So I really think that these sets, these particular set of decks, was a little bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
But now that I go back, there's some cards that were specifically printed in these sets that I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was a card. Like, just because I think that at the time, I don't think that I really looked too much into it.
Like, it had a couple, like, really good cards printed in this set.
Volcanic Offering. Jesus Christ, that card's good.
It's so one-sided, isn't it?
Lifeblood Hydra, I believe that was the first time that was printed. I love this card.
Song of the Dryads.
Yeah, Song of the Dryads was a good one. I think specifically...
Dualcaster Mage.
Masterwork of Ingenuity. The 1-mana copy and equipment.
Yeah.
So I guess like this is like maybe just me speaking here, because this is just the new cards, but it also introduced, like, we got reprints of all of the Jet Medallion and the Opal Medallion and the Ruby Medallion and all some good monocolored mana rocks, that we just hadn't seen printings of in a long time. I don't think that this set really. I don't want to say that it didn't do much for the format, but
It had another real high price card and Containment Priest. That's seen a lot of play in Legacy.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
So
I guess it makes sense, but
yeah.
one card that was it in this one? Maybe it wasn't. Oh yeah. I had no idea that Overseer of the Damned was even a card. Like I want to say that I kept up with this well enough, but like I
Yeah.
just don't remember this as a card at all. And I'm like, whoa, this card's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm. Like Angel of the Dire Hour.
Yeah, so I just don't think that this set was
It
really
wasn't
impactful.
it wasn't a powerful set. It just had a couple like really awesome and unique cards in it.
Mm-hmm. And again, the reprints, you know.
Yeah.
The reprints are probably where this like shined a lot. There was a lot of I don't know about all the other sets, but I feel like this just had a lot of rares in it, you know? You got a lot of
Yeah.
rares. Like this whole page right here is all rares. You
Yep.
know? So it's like and mythics, I guess. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
And they're all
7,
new
8,
cards.
9, 10. So it looks like each color got 10 except for black and green, which both got 11. So it's pretty rad.
If you don't count the Flamekin Village as a red card.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I probably would, just because of how Commander is.
Yeah.
We also got Commander Sphere in this set, which was
It's okay.
yeah. It
Myriad
was
Landscape.
oh yeah,
And
Myriad.
Arcane Lighthouse specifically.
Yeah, Myriad Landscape.
Get around Sigarda.
Yeah, no kidding. Arcane Lighthouse is actually very good.
Yep.
Gets around hexproof and stuff like that. But
Those moments where you have to put cards in your decks to play around other cards.
yeah. Moving on to Commander 2015, which also honestly was a set that I thought was neat, but I didn't really like buy into very much. I have
I
cards.
feel like-
I have cards from it now after the fact, but as
Yeah.
the set was as they were being released and spoiled and stuff, I can't say that I was like the most excited about it.
I feel like the biggest part about this set was the new commanders because we got a ton of new two-color legendaries.
One of the most popular, I think, being Marin of Clan Neltoff.
Which is a very good card.
Yep. Yeah, so we
But-
got
and-
the confluences in this set, which is really cool.
Mhm.
The modal cards that harken back to the command cards.
Hmm.
They're all I mean, I'd say, well, I don't know if Fiery Confluence is very good. I don't know if Righteous Confluence is very good either.
We got a new cool mechanic in this set called Myriad.
Oh
which
yeah,
when
you're
you
right.
attack one person, you attack everybody.
Mm-hmm. So
And then we had that Magus of the Wheel reprint, or not reprint, but new card.
oh yeah, Magus of the Wheel.
Basically reprint Wheel
Yeah.
of Fortune.
Yeah, Wheel of Fortune with legs. So, it also introduced Pathbreaker Ibex, which was
Yep.
I have an opinion on this guy.
What's your opinion? This
He's
is the time to share it.
he's very Winmore, in my opinion. I don't know. He makes like the green Stompy deck like even more Stompy. I don't know.
Hmm.
This set also introduced Command Beacon, but as I recall, Command Beacon was only printed in one of the decks.
I don't remember.
I think that's how it was. And
This was also the time where I was finally financially stable enough to buy all 5 decks.
this kind of irked me a little bit because I'm like, but this card is good in every commander deck, you know?
Yeah.
Like no matter what you play, like this card's still very helpful. And
Which, speaking of which, a couple times through here, I think we didn't see a reprint of it, obviously, in the monocolored, but we didn't see Command Tower.
oh, we did, yeah, I guess we didn't have it in this set.
I know we didn't have it in the monocolored one, and I'm not sure
Right,
about
right.
this one.
Right. But I'm not sure that this set really had that too terribly much of an impact aside from really the the confluences. I'd think Pathbreaker Ibex and like Blade of Selves, like that was a very important card too, because being
Yeah.
able to give any creature Myriad is pretty crazy. I think that where I am going to be able to have the most of an opinion really and drop some conclusions here is from the next set,
Yeah.
which being Commander 2016, which we just
Recently went over.
yep, we just went over it, and now that we're out of the honeymoon phase, like Commander 2016 has come and gone. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
I can now start to really further develop my opinions on it after I've had a chance to kind of cool off and see it for what it is. So having
which this set was also where you got this topic from, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is the set that kind of made me really think about this idea that I'm going to share here. I think that now that this set is out and we have all of these 4-color commanders, you are a little bit pigeonholed into the type of deck that you have to play with these 4-color commanders. And so, like, let's take Brea, for instance. Like, she's just super artifact-centric, and I guess you could argue that, that if you're playing those colors, you're going to be playing artifacts anyway. But now, I kind of feel like, because before I talked about in our episode how I had this type of deck, I just used the Nephilim, the corresponding Nephilim with her. Mm-hmm. But I feel like now that these are out, and as excited as I was when they came out, now I'm just kind of like, oh, so now everyone has the 4-color artifact deck.
Yeah.
And so I guess it could be argued either way that it kind of added a little bit of creativity into it, because now more people are experimenting with this type of deck. But at the same time, I feel like all of a sudden there are cards that are widely accepted as, like, you have to have this card on this deck.
Yeah.
And
it dilutes the creativity.
Yeah, because before it was really fun trying to develop strats and stuff that take these colors that you wouldn't normally see together. Yeah. I guess specifically I had this revelation with Brea, but now we have, like, Yidris, who does, like, Cascade stuff, so I feel like the immediate is gonna be like, I have to just make a Cascade thing, and I do admit that I've seen like other types of builds with this guy.
Yeah.
You have an Atraxa, who in this deck it was like almost like a little bit of a bummer, because, and like, this is gonna sound really stupid, but it's like, it's like I had like the Abzan +1/+1 counters deck, and I was like, it'd be really cool if we had blue in the mix so I could use all the proliferate stuff. And then we have Atraxa, and the deck that Atraxa comes in has all, like, or not all, but a lot of the really key +1/+1 counter stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so all of a sudden this idea that, I'm not saying it's an idea that's unique to me, that I'm the only one who had this idea, but it's like, okay, now I guess everyone plays the +1/+1 counters deck. I don't know.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's one thing to build your own deck, like grab a commander and then build something around it, and then to basically have that deck printed for the masses.
So, like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm very grateful that these decks came out. Like, it's just like little things here and there that I'm like, okay, like just things that I have to accept, like, and I was never the only person to have the 4-color artifact deck. I wasn't the first, and I'm not going to be the last.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if you go to your locals now, it's like at your table of, I don't know, let's say you play a six-player game with a couple of people who just might be playing the Brea deck. And I was like, oh, well, there's the Brea deck, I guess.
Just like before, we would say, no, there's the Zer deck, or there's the Mimeoplasm deck, or...
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because those are so popular. And I think that now we can say, looking back, that I think that the first commander set probably had the most powerful commanders that we've seen so far.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think there's a reason behind that. I think that Wizards kind of wasn't too sure on what a commander needed to be.
Yeah.
And so they've been just experimenting with power levels and stuff up until, even going forward. I'm sure that we'll see, hopefully this year we get the other two color decks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that probably this set and the first set had the most powerful commanders in it, because there's some really good stuff that can be had. And I'm not talking about the partner stuff. Like, I'm talking about the 4-color people here.
I mean, the partner stuff was unique, and it was something new, but it's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, and this set we talked about in our review of it had like some of the most awesome reprints that we've had so far. Just there's a lot of really good reprints. So, like, starting to kind of drop some conclusions here. I would never go back in time to a point where if I were a person that had any sort of influence on the Commander supplemental product being a thing, I would never go back and change it. I think it's excellent. It has brought like Commander into the spotlight a little bit, and there's many people that play this format now, you know. And there's also it also brings in new minds, you know, for new ideas for decks and experimenting with new cards that, you know, if 100 people play a deck, this one person can come in with a deck that has like one or two cards that maybe like we're kind of looked down upon, and all of a sudden those two cards have a really awesome impact on the game, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, we have a new staple for this color because like this card is just so good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, and I get like it's pretty inevitable, like that more people get into the format, like the demand for the staples is going to go up, and the staples that haven't been reprinted are going to go up in price as well, just because it's just simple economics, I guess.
But then you gotta there's more people coming in to play the format, which this is something for everybody. Like we want more people to play with because, you know, this isn't standard. This isn't hyper competitive. We're gonna go play for fun. So the more people we have to play, the better. But that makes prices go up, which I mean,
it's good. It's good and bad. Like there are definitely pros and cons to this set coming out. There is like the introduction of new commanders introduces new ways to build decks, but at the same time, it could be argued that all of a sudden anyone who's playing the Brea deck is going to have a very similar way to play. You know,
or you'll have that one outlier that'll be playing the Brea deck and be playing something completely different. Maybe they'll be playing aggro.
Yeah, even before these decks came out, you still had like the Azami deck and the Azusa deck, you know, like and the Zur deck that were just the really notoriously powerful commanders, which people may have taken commanders from the supplemental product and really strived to beat out those commanders, you know. And I'm sure that there's been some excellent games between like what could be considered like the old guard and like the new power, you know, really coming in. And so like if I were to go to a table and sit down for a 6-player commander game and 3 of those people were using the pre-constructed commander decks straight out the box, that's great, because what that means is that I'm not sitting down to a 3-player game. You know, like
and also you're going to be sitting down to have some fun and not like in a hyper competitive format.
Well, it just depends on the group of people you're with, if I'm honest, because
that too. But
they're the types of players in Commander that are looking to combo out on turn 3, which actually happened to me when I lived in Illinois. I played with the very casual players, but then we played with this one guy who just mind crank comboed everybody on like turn 3, and we were all just like, well, all right, I guess the game's over. We just wasted like 20 minutes shuffling and drawing cards and mulliganing and playing our first lands and spells just for the game to end a couple turns in.
Which, I mean, that's okay every now and then, but I feel like that's better to play in a 1v1 situation.
Yeah, because, I mean, of course, like the main focus of the Commander like supplemental product is to encourage... I would say it's to encourage multiplayer, especially because we have cards like the Tempting Offer mechanic, the Join Forces mechanic, the cards like Death by Dragons and stuff that, and cards like right here from the newest product, Saskia the Unyielding, which like encourages. So whenever a creature you control deals damage to a player, deals that much damage to the chosen player. So you choose the one person and attack the other person. You know.
Yep.
It really encourages multiplayer. So, I guess to really like TLDR this, the Commander supplemental product is excellent. I would not change it for the world. It has taken the values of some cards and taken them down because of reprints. It's taken the values of some cards and driven them up because of the lack of reprints. It has infused a new group of people into the community for the format, and with all of their fresh ideas and open minds. But at the same time, you start to see the new people coming in with their brand new ideas, but at the same time, you kind of start to see people playing the decks that you've seen 100 times. So, that's kind of my thoughts on how it is, and it is. You can tell that it's Commander by the way that it is.
Yep.
How about you? Closing thoughts. Closing.
I think that, I didn't, like I said earlier, I didn't get into the Commander format until after 2013 or just before 2013 had come out. And, for me, I didn't have a lot. I grabbed a deck and eventually was able to get the one that I wanted. And I remember that first night, especially if Colin was here, that'd be great, because we played a Rune against Nikusar that first night. And we had probably one of the most balanced games that we had ever had, and we had a ton of fun.
Were you just playing him straight out of the box?
Yep.
Oh, man.
So...
That must have been weird.
It was a little weird, but...
That's what we should do for the next set. Play him out of the box.
We had a lot of fun. So it helped us figure out what we were doing. Plus, we knew we were going to build around the decks anyway. So before we took them apart, we played, and then eventually did add stuff to them. And now, I have my Nekusar deck now, and it's, it plays really well as opposed to what it used to.
Yeah.
But the Commander set, it helps people get into the format, and it helps provide everybody with what they need. If, you get what you need in the sets.
I guess real quick, I think I may have just skipped a major point in that, now we see that in block sets that come out, there are legendary creatures that you may never see play in standard or whatever.
Yeah. But
they're excellent commanders. You know what I mean? Let's put it this way. If Commander, the supplemental product, wasn't a thing, what do you think must have been a huge influence on a block like Khans of Tarkir? Because you had all of the Khans.
I immediately went to that set when you brought this up.
All of the Khans, like Sidisi and Sirach and all the other ones that I can't remember.
Azurgo and Narset. And
Anakinza. Yeah, very, very powerful cards. But we may have seen some of those in C standard play and stuff, but where they truly shine is in Commander, 100%. Yep. I don't think that that's even an arguable point. Those cards had to have been designed with the Commander format in mind,
Yep, for sure.
So
especially the fact that when we went to Khans of Tarkir, this is the first time we're seeing the wedges in a long time. So like I had mentioned earlier at the beginning of what we're talking about, was that first time we'd seen the Mardu colors on a Commander since Kalia. So it's the first time we had been able to get access and different commanders for those color combinations.
Yeah. So that's definitely another huge byproduct of the Wizards adopting Commander as an official format. Even there are cards not necessarily, I'll say it just for flavor, they're just they're hidden, they're hidden in these sets, and it's our job to go find the cards that are going to become the next set of all-stars.
Yep. Can I just say real quick that I really miss back when Cons came out and we all made a deck around one of the Cons, and then we made a deck around the other commanders that come out. I miss doing that.
I mean, there's no one saying that we can't. Maybe when Amonkhet comes out, that'll be our next opportunity.
Amonkhet?
Amonkhet? Isn't that what it's called?
Amonkhet?
Amonkhet? Whatever.
I don't know.
Potato, tomato. But yeah, I guess that was kind of the end of that point there. So without the adoption of it as an official format, I don't think that we would be seeing legendaries be printed the way that they are now.
Yep,
for sure. But who knows? I'm sure that there's something that I've forgotten, but
that's okay.
Yep. I think that just about wraps it up. I mean, this is really it's kind of like a nostalgic episode, I guess, to just kind of go back real quick and see what has been. And just to, as I said, what I hope to come in the other two colored Commander decks. That's kind of my hope for this year, because red, white, and green, white haven't. Well, no, red, white did, but green, white didn't.
Also, we're getting the Commander anthology this year, with the Plane Chase anthology that we got.
That's gonna be weird. I'm curious to see what they end up putting in that and how much it ends up costing.
That too.
Yeah. But yeah, so. Here's to Commander, everything that it was, is, and will be.
Yep.
But that wraps it up here, I think, for this episode of Commanding Magic Season 2. Pretty soon here, we're going to have to start seeing some spoilers from Amonkhet.
Which we've already seen one.
And what a spoiler that it is. Yeah. You know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and bring that up real quick. Just at the very end here, as like a little...
As a teaser?
I don't even know where it is. How do I navigate the internet?
You're still on Mythic, right?
Yeah, I got it. Except for... Here we go.
Did you figure it out?
Yep. So this is a card that is called Anointecessor and Alvarecessor or something.
It's a Ferritio. I think that's what that says.
That's something else.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, this is Dusk and Dawn, which just, first of all, like from Dusk till Dawn, like what a freaking awesome, in my opinion, definitely a callback to From Dusk Till Dawn. But
yep.
What an interesting way for a card to be laid out. And the artwork is fan-freaking-tastic here.
Although, the biggest complaint I've seen so far is how squished it is.
Yeah, it's a little squished. I'll give it that. But, so, for 4 mana, 2 and a white, you're destroying all creatures with the power greater or equal to 3. And then it goes into your graveyard. But they have designed it in such a way, and it's one of the coolest design choices I've seen in a long time, where you can turn the card sideways so you can see it.
See it in your graveyard.
And when you cast it from your graveyard, it does something completely different. So the effect is called Aftermath. So you can cast this spell only from your graveyard and then exile it. Return all creatures with power less than or equal to 2, right?
Yeah.
I think that text is kind of messed up. From your graveyard to your hand. So you have it in your hand, and you can see it, read the card, put it in your graveyard, turn that little guy to the side so you can see exactly where it is, and you're going to be able to cast it. It's like an aesthetic thing. It's a truly beautiful thing, in my opinion. And
it shows where Wizards has creativity left in how they're designing cards.
If this is any indication of what like R&D has in store for the Amonkhet block, count me in. Like, I want this. I want more fresh, new ideas like this, like more awesome artwork, and like awesome legendaries, which we know that we're gonna see because of the gods on Amonkhet. Which there's very little information about them right now, but we'll
start finding out soon.
My bar is set very high for Amonkhet just because of this card and the artwork that we have seen so far.
Yep.
So, with that being said, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Commanding Magic Season 2. Find us on Facebook. Give us a like, comment, subscribe on the YouTubes. Let us know how you feel. How do you think we're doing now that we're finally back? Let us know where you think we should go. But don't say, like, into the Ohio River, because, you know what we mean. In before someone actually comments that. If they even make it to the end of the episode. Who knows? Who freaking knows, man? But yeah, this is going to be Travis and Brandon returning to the command zone for the first time of the new season. The dilating or diluting, whatever, of
the dilating of the format.
That's right. The delusion, is that the plural? Or is that the way to say that? I don't know.
I have no idea where you're going.
Nope, I don't know. I don't either.